In this video, you will learn why, how, and when to get ethics permission. First, let's talk about why ethics permission is necessary. Being ethical means following rules of accepted behavior and being morally good. In order for scientific research to benefit humans and animals, rather than harm them, it must be done ethically. When you ask for ethics permission, you are getting another person or group of people's opinion on your project. Ethics permission is important because it protects the participants of your project. Scientists who carry out research projects involving humans or animals spend a lot of time thinking not only about the scientific content of their work, but also about the potential impact of the work on the organisms that they study, the health, privacy, and dignity of the subjects participating in their studies. In addition, the use of ethics in scientific research is used to ensure that the goals of research, the search for new knowledge, limiting error, and being truthful, are preserved. For example, misrepresenting findings or conducting an experiment that cannot be repeated to verify the findings are considered unethical. Projects that do not get ethics permission before starting are at risk of not being allowed to participate in a science fair. If you aren't sure if your project would get approved, you can read about the ethics policies that apply to all Canadian students at ethics.uscience.ca. We will talk briefly about these policies in a minute. It is very important to get ethics permission before starting your project. If your project is denied, it is impossible to go back in time and correct the ethics problem. This means you wouldn't be allowed to continue with your project and you'll have wasted time. Even if you think your project might not make it to the regional or national fair, it is still important to have ethics permission for your school fair. Youth Science Canada has 4 policies related to ethical human and animal use. Let's go through them one by one. Policy 4.1.1 has to do with low-risk human participation. These projects include surveys, most food and drink projects, some caffeinated beverage projects, some absorption through the skin projects, and some exercise projects. These projects all require ethics permission. If your project is approved, you'll need to provide all of your participants with a letter of information explaining what you require of them. They will also need to sign a permission slip. This is also known as an informed consent form. More information about this will be in a future video. Policy 4.1.2 involves projects that are of significant human risk. Any projects that don't meet the low-risk criteria are considered to be of significant risk. These projects involve a risk of harm to participants that is greater than that encountered in their daily lives, including potential physical and/or emotional discomfort. Blood tests, sleep deprivation studies, tissue samples, and extreme exercise experiments would all be examples of significant risk projects. You'll need to submit your research plan, the name of your scientific supervisor, the location your research will take place, your letter of information to participants, and your informed consent page in order to get approval for your project. Policy 4.1.2 refers to invertebrate animals, projects that use lower orders of life, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, insects, plants, and invertebrate animals with elementary nervous systems can be used in experiments as long as it is intended to reveal valuable information. These projects don't need ethics permission as long as you are following safety guidelines. However, if you're unsure, the Ethics Committee will be more than happy to clarify any questions you may have before beginning. Policy 4.2.2 refers to vertebrate animals. Vertebrate animals are any animals with a backbone or spine. This means that cats, dogs, fish, frogs, and bats are all animals requiring ethics permission. Cephalopods also fit into this category even though they are invertebrates. This is because their nervous system is so advanced. In order to get ethics approval, you need to submit your research plan and, depending on the type of project, your scientific supervisor. Students in grades 4 through 6 will get ethics permission by writing a letter or sending an email to the ethics coordinator. For Northern British Columbia, the ethics coordinator is myself, Angela Gatt. You can contact me by emailing agatt@prn.bc.ca. Your letter needs to explain your project question, how many participants you'd like to have, and how you plan to keep them safe. If you are requesting permission for a project of significant risk, you'll also need to include your research plan and who your scientific supervisor is. Students in grades 7 through 12 need to fill out a special form for ethics permission. This form can be found on our website at www.northernbcregionalsciencefair.ca under the Regulations tab. This form asks you to describe your project in a paragraph or two. It also includes some guiding questions for you to answer, such as where the experiments will take place and who will be supervising you. In addition, you'll need to include a copy of the consent form you plan to use if your project uses human participants. Again, a future video will discuss the consent form in more detail. Within 48 hours, you should receive a response for your request. If you didn't include all of the necessary information, you will be asked to provide it before getting a yes or no answer. If your project is denied, suggestions will be given on how to revise your project so that it is ethical. If your project is approved, you will be sent an approval letter. Please print this letter and include it as the first page of your logbook so fair judges know you received ethics permission. It is at this time that you are ready to begin working on your project.